Hey everybody, welcome to another video thing. Today we're going to be looking at Adventures of Big Boy number 139. I have I have a few of these things. I love the letters columns, and they're kind of insane because I'm pretty sure it was just like somebody dashed them off in an afternoon. They're fun though, and they were 10 cents unless you bought a hamburger. That's what that means. And yeah, so let's introduce you to the cast. You got Big Boy, you got Nugget the dog, you got Dolly, his friend, and I think this guy's just here for this one illustration. So yeah, these are like silly free comics that were handed out at fast food restaurants. Fun fact, Stan Lee actually wrote the first issue of this, and this ran for at least 485 issues. I've seen uh, some accounts of there being 532. I have like 60 of them. So I couldn't tell you. The highest issue I've gotten my hands on is 366. But yeah, so this has to be like the longest running fast food related comic book in the United States. So, for whatever that's worth, 1955 until like late 90s. These letters columns are amazing because they're not really letters. I'm like 90% sure they would just leave little comment cards with crayons for the kids because I remember there being crayons there when I was a kid. I went to a few Big Boy restaurants when I was really young because they used to be. Or no, we took a trip to California and they were on the thruway over there. I think that's what it was. I seem to remember there being one or two on I-87, but I don't think so. Anyway, they're they're kind of generic restaurants. The most interesting thing about the restaurant is the big statue of the big boy out front. So let's take a look at some of these letters because usually this letters page is this is the meat. This is what you're showing up to the show for. Saturday, my landlord made a place where I could make a garden. I dug up the dirt and put fertilizer on it. I am going to plant buttercrunch lettuce and strawberries. Love, Russell Cordery. And this one doesn't have any responses from Big Boy, but some of them they'll have these really tepid responses from somebody writing as the Big Boy, somebody maybe the Big Boy was real. There's no credits, so I couldn't tell you, but let's just say the Big Boy was real. Okay, so we have a dog named Boots. She loves to bring home old junk from the neighbors. We get very mad at her. She brought home a lot of shoes one day. Our friends came from all sides looking for their shoes. Finally, the dog pound picked her up, and it loved her so much even though she brought things home. Your friend Kay Richardson. Aw, it's kind of a sweet one. Last week I went to the golf course with my dad. We got a golf cart, and my dad let me drive. I was going so fast that my hat was blowing off, so I had to hold on to it. It was fun, but I got hot. Yesterday I made some soap bubbles. I was blowing them, and my brother and next door neighbors were popping them, but the bubbles made a very big mess. Today I was blowing some, and by mistake, I hit my hand against the bubbles and they spilled all over me. Your pal, David Herman. And yeah, I would buy like a 500 page book of just all the Big Boy letter columns. So I don't know, Fantagraphics, if you're listening to this, you're leaving money on the table if you don't put this out for me. Anyway, so Our first adventure this issue is your charming friend Dolly. That's Dolly in a useful dream. She's late for her math exam. Yeah, kind of a fun looking, sort of weak Gene Deitch looking school, sort of. Um, guys asking her about the math quiz. Oh, hey, this whatever kid had this finished the whole crossword. That's like kind of impressive. You know, like I'm not even mad, bro. And also, like this isn't. None of these are ever in great condition. But anyway, turns out it was all a dream, and the guys in the graduation caps are saying that 4 and 4 is 44, not 8. And then there's some of this dialogue, I mean, this is, if this isn't a first draft, then like, why are you wasting your time if you're the guy who got assigned to do this? Clearly, my subconscious mind wanted to warn me that I still had not studied hard enough. I had better study some more. She looks kind of, there's this like dread in her face, and I guess that's the lesson. So, everybody at home, if you got a math test tomorrow, go study some more. Well, finish the video first and check out some of my other videos, but then at like 2 in the morning, like go study some more. Okay, so we got the man himself, the big boy, very low center of gravity. They have very recognizable silhouettes. Some of these poses, I mean, this is like, I don't even want to say what this pose looks like, but um, anyway, so Big Boy goes to the Olympic Games. We have some casual racism. It kind of is drawn a little like Rocky and Bullwinkle. Looks like TV cartoons of the time, like kind of like Hanna-Barbera. Same with the color. Although I kind of like the washed out pastel looking color from the crappy paper. I'm the first guy to ever say that. No, I'm not. Anyway, so kind of neat. You got examples of ancient writing. I remember on card trips when I was a kid, I would do a lot of these little challenge things. Like they'd have those invisible ink books where it would have a bunch of puzzles you'd have to figure out, and then you could reveal the answers with this invisible ink pen. Um, I remember having fun with those. And yeah, we got Big Boy's carrying a shank. He's about to take out the pimp guy. Pimp guy actually, once he loses the hat, he doesn't quite look like that. And this is light plastic, but it really looks like a block of cheese, right? Like I think the colorist is the guy who most phoned this in on these. Um, Not complaining. It's just there's some coloring errors in this series that they verge on the avant-garde. And yeah, and Big Boy is oh my god. Okay, this dialogue on this panel. Um, what is that championship he's talking about? I didn't even compete yet, says Big Boy. The helicopter says, yes, you've been named champion of U.S. Mexican friendship, and there's. I mean, I guess they're like not super stereotypical portrayals of Mexicans, so I'll give them points for that. it's just awkward, and also there's just like a figure of one of the people holding him, but it just looks like his head is shoved up Big Boy's ass. Um, and that's the kind of stuff you get with like this is like Fever Dream, Jim Woodring shit, and it's weird because like the Big Boy, you'd think like because he's always smiling in the big statues outside the restaurants, you'd think he's kind of a jolly guy, but he always looks like super pensive, I guess, because he's always on the run from something. Like in these comics, I mean, there's other Big Boy merchandise, but I would say at like 500 or so issues, this is the biggest vein of Big Boy merchandise. Pretty much all of these have a one-page ad for the hamburger and the Coke. The Coke always looks the same. The hamburger, the color changes. Sometimes that looks like it's supposed to be ketchup. Sometimes that looks like it's supposed to be mayonnaise. Whatever it is, that kind of rounded off edge makes it, my mind is in the gutter. I'm a child of the aughts internet, right? But like that looks a little bit, I don't want to eat that, I guess is what I would say. For some reason, hamburgers, they're trying to say hamburgers have something to do with dancing. I guess because dancing makes you hungry. So go dance, go eat a hamburger, I guess is the message they're sending. And Nugget gets into a fight with some other dogs. And I'm not bothering to read it. I think he turns him into a street gang or something there. And here you go. And so one of the neat things about these comics is that there's regional variants for the different franchisees of the restaurant. So it'll list off all the locations that are owned by that franchise, I'm pretty sure. So this is from a pretty small franchise. Most of them are called Bob's Big Boy because Bob's Big Boy is the original one. This one is a Czar's Big Boy. And it looks like he had the Indiana and Colorado territory. Doesn't list the restaurants, so it's got to be like a pretty small number of restaurants. Some of these will have a list of like 60, 70 restaurants on the back of it. Um, and everybody's chasing after the big boy, but the big boy is fast because he keeps dancing and eating hamburgers. So anyway, that was Adventures of the Big Boy 139. This show is brought to you by the stuff that I sell at Silver Factory Books and Records in sunny, scenic Ballston Spa, New York. Hope to see you there. We're open Wednesday to Sunday. And until next time, keep dancing and eating hamburgers, I guess.